Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. We're headed to the Commonwealth Cabinet. You know, I've got all these social media sites and I see comments all the time. And the top four, we're going to talk about the top four negative comments or complaints that I get about eBay. And I want to talk to you and see which one is your biggest complaint. But I got to tell you, this is a strange day to be ripping on eBay for me because sales have been good. Let's go take a look. All right, like I said, sales have been good for us the last few days for sure. Looks like things are picking up. I know that's not the case for everybody out there, so I don't want you to, feel bad if your sales aren't good. You go back a few months and I was making a few videos where my sales weren't good. We are going to talk. Here's these ornaments right here. Let me pull this one first. All right, looks like I found the right one. It's a Wallace silver-plated sleigh bell ornament. This was a lucky pickup because I would not have seen these. But it was kind of an overpriced estate sale, and I was wandering around. I had nowhere else to go, no other sales to go to. I can't even show it to you. Maybe I'll just put up a picture. And so I started looking at these, and actually my dad pointed them out. He's like, come check out this Christmas table out over there. Check these out. I'm like, okay. And I was like, huh. You look these up, they're all over the place, but this one sold for $84.95, and we grabbed a whole bunch of them for $5 a piece. And I think that's probably the highest priced one, and now I've got a new item to get in my head, Wallace Christmas ornaments, that I've never sold before. I've probably seen them before and never sold them before, but that's always good to have that. So $5 into $84.95 plus shipping. Like I said, our sales have been pretty good, and there's been some mixed through that are some decent high sell-through rate, not high sell-through rate, high ASP items, and you'll see some later in this video as well. But we're going to start the conversation about what, I don't know how to title it. What do you hate about eBay the most? What do sellers complain about the most? I think I've narrowed it down to 4 things that I hear all the time. And then one of those 4, I'll just tell you all 4, and then we'll let you guess which one the highest is, or you can get your input as to what sellers complain about the most. Fees, of course, is going to be one of those. The glitches, for lack of a better term, the issues that the site has itself. Maybe even including search in that. Strangely enough, I don't get a ton of complaints about promoted, but they do filter into that fee structure, so I think that's appropriate to put them in there. Buyers not paying for items is another one, and I think that's a lot less of a problem than it used to be, but it is still a problem. And then eBay siding with bad buyers is the other one. So we'll talk about all those today, but then I'll tell you the one that I get more than any other complaint out of those 4. And of course, they're not complaining about me, they're complaining about eBay to me. So, not that you didn't already get that, but here is, I need some carom board pieces. There they are right there. I picked this carom board up at a sale for $5, and it was a little bit damaged. I just bumped my elbow on that thing. And I just wanted to see if there was carom board pieces in it, because these things can sell right here. And the carom boards can sell too. People use them to decorate and stuff like that. And I think I have one for sale right now, but that particular one wasn't in great shape. I think the nets were cut out of it and stuff. So I still bought it for $5 and took these pieces out and sold these for $30 plus shipping. Why don't we have a little fun here in the comments? You tell me, maybe not even out of just those 4, just maybe what is your biggest complaint? Not even that you don't like eBay, because I complain about eBay. But I love eBay, so it's not that you can't have a complaint, right? Maybe I should do a video, what I love about eBay. Just so people know that it's not just whining and complaining. But you can still have some legitimate beefs with a company or with way things are done, and hopefully they listen and take feedback over time and make changes. I think that's a little slow at times, but I have seen some movement over the last couple of years in a couple of areas, which is always a good thing. Sometimes I worked in the school system, so sometimes when they would have forums for parents or teachers to complain or open houses or something like that, I felt like it really wasn't meaningful. It was more like a placebo button that people could press so that they could vent and feel better, but nothing ever changed. And so there may be a little bit of that, but I actually have seen movement in a few little areas that give me some encouragement. But at the same time, there are certainly things that we can complain about. So out of those 4, fees, glitches, problems with the website, non-paying buyers. I guess I should add one in here. I probably didn't even think about this one when I made my list, is returns. I guess that kind of fits into eBay siding with the buyer, I guess. And it doesn't exactly, you know, returns don't quite fit that. But, you know, I suppose most of the issues with returns do fit that, because I think most of us expect a certain amount of returns to happen. I like to keep mine at about, well, I like to keep it under 1%, but it usually hovers around 1%. You may remember I said that hat sales were a little slow, and then I got a hat sale, so that's good. All right, where am I going? NFL. I don't see NFL anywhere. There it is right here. It's a pretty cool little Chargers hat. It is in perfect condition, and it's not like a sports specialties or anything like that, but it is an older one, and it can bring decent money even without that brand name on there like that. $29.95 plus shipping. Since I've already done a when in doubt parted out item right there, those carom board pieces, here is another one for you. And I say this from time to time, but you know, you can pick up bags, designer bags in bad shape, really bad shape, for cheap sometimes. And this is Dooney and Burke, and it's got the little hang tags with it, 2 of them in this case, one with the leather strap, and that's why I picked up that bag, because there was 2 of them. I might even paid up just $1 or $2 for it because there was 2, and it sold for 20 bucks plus shipping. All right, I'll tell you this: you would think that fees are the biggest complaint, but I rarely get complaints about the fee structure itself, unless and until they up a fee. That 10%, what was it, a 10-cent fee for any item over $10. Do you remember that, where they took it from 30 cents to 40 cents? That was one, and I'll be honest with you, I was a little surprised that so very few people said, hey, that's not a big deal. I'm like, wow. Like, man, I sell like 5,000 things. That's $500 a year. That's more than I pay for the store subscription. You know, that's a lot of money. Y'all, that is a bunch of money. So I really think, for me, fees would be higher up on it, and the competition between these sites, and working diligently to try to reduce costs in order to keep fees down, because over time, fees are a huge takeaway from your business. But I also get the other perspective in this, and so people might have bigger problems with the glitches, for instance. All right, I'm headed out to the other shed. I got a piece of glass that's sold, but maybe glitches isn't exactly the best way to term, you know, to put a term on it. Just problems with the site, the adjustments, the changes that take place over time, the ineffectiveness of the site. I think it lends itself to inconsistency. And if you are trying to run a consistent business with consistency of income coming in, I could see how that would be high up on some people's lists as well. But it is still not the highest of the complaints, which to me, those first 2 are more important than the last one. However, by far, the last one I'm going to talk about here is the one I get complaints about the most. Here is what sold off the glass shelf. I'm so excited. There's been so many people that buy glass from us. It's kind of cool. And this one right here, I bought at the 127 sale, and I think I paid $4 for it. I just thought it was super cool. And I thought I'd maybe sell it on a glass show over on Knickknacks or something in the future with Tim, but I ended up not doing that, and I got $14.95 for it. I think it went to a viewer. This one went to Yvonne, and Yvonne says, hey, Kevin, I'm adding this to my collection. I think the older I get, the more I appreciate an artist's skill, and this is one of those things, for sure. I like this one. That's why I picked it up. I couldn't leave it behind. I like to pay, you know, a couple bucks or something, but man, I was like, that thing looks cool. So I grabbed it. Plus, they're easy to ship. So it looks like things are going well. Take care. God bless. And here's to Q4. Joy Campbell. I said Yvonne, but it's Joy. So Joy of Flipping. Hey, Joy. I appreciate you very, very much. And I hope you enjoy that. I know I like it. I think the classic one I've heard more than anything is, over the years, that is the fact that buyers don't pay for an item. This thing is cool. I picked this up. I don't even remember where I picked it up. It was very recently, though, and it was super cheap, and I'm like, yeah, I'll grab it. And I had no idea what it was worth, but I brought it home, and we listed it for 20 bucks plus shipping, and we got it pretty quick. The right time of year to sell a zombie. I like it. That was 20 bucks plus shipping, And of course, you know, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, I feel like it's better now than it's ever been before with buyers not paying. Now, I set my settings to immediate pay, but that doesn't solve all the problems. I think it's less of a problem than it used to be, but it is still a problem for folks, you know, especially when somebody buys something and doesn't pay for it on a send offer or something, and then you're sitting around waiting, and then they cancel it or whatever. So tell me, if for you old time folks out here who've been selling longer than I have, I've been at it 24 years, is it a bigger problem than it was, say, 5 years ago, or is it a smaller problem? But I still get that complaint all the time. So with all those other things, that I got to be honest with you, the first two are probably the most important to me, but it's the last two that I get more complaints about eBay than anything else. I think possibly that's because people realize, hey, you know, fees are what they are, as long as they're competitive with the other sites and the volume of sales is better on this site over this site, it's like, okay. But the one that I get complaints about more than anything, and I say me, eBay gets complaints about through me, I guess, I don't know, is siding with buyers. People just, it's this, I don't know, I guess it's just human nature, right? When you feel like you're doing this right, you're doing it the right way, and you feel like somebody's taking advantage of you, it just does not sit well. And I totally get that, 100%. It's not more important to me than the fees, because the fees over time are going to cost me more money. I can handle my feelings getting hurt or the wrong, you know, little injustice now and then, but some people, you just can't handle it, and I totally get that. When eBay sides, and I feel like this is something that's worse than it used to be, where all those other things, maybe not fees, but are a little better. And I think part of that is in an effort to keep down fees, they cut customer service. And if you're going to look into every single sale and try to determine who's at fault and who's not at fault, there's a cost to that in labor, and they just have made the decision that it's just not worth quite as much cost in that area. I think it's a mistake. I really do. Just because people get so emotional about this stuff and they just don't want to be ripped off. I was just looking at this table, and side note here, you know how cool it is to have $200 in sales, like sitting in that? That's like the easiest shipping ever. But speaking of shipping, wanted to give a shout out to David, who bought plans for the Commonwealth Picker shipping table over on CommonwealthPicker.com. I have mentioned lately that camera sales are going well. Matter of fact, over on Shop Comments, people have been selling camera lots as well, like broken camera lots for people that can fix them. The Polaroid Go, we picked it up super cheap, and this one sold for, very quickly by the way, $29.95 plus shipping. I have heard some people say, yeah, camera sales are going good, but Polaroids aren't exactly flying off the shelf, and that may be the case. But this is the new modern version, one of those. $29.95 plus shipping. I gotta head in and get a t-shirt, Pepper. But you've been following me all day, so I thought I'd give you a little... Oh, Mama's home too. The dogs are in her way. I better go help her out. This is a Loot Crate shirt. It's Silent Hill from Loot Crate. And this was one of those $1 t-shirts I bought at that sale, oh, I don't know, about 6 weeks ago or so. We took a bunch of them and sold them off on a live show on Dibdit. We just started auctions at $1 a piece, and we averaged about six bucks for each t-shirt. But this one I thought was better, appropriate for not necessarily my audience. Oh, I don't know, my audience would buy Silent Hill, I suppose. And we put it on eBay, $15.95 plus shipping. So don't get me wrong, I get just as affected if I feel like somebody's ripping me off, and I get emotional and I get irate sometimes. Like, why can't eBay get this right? This is so clear and this is so obvious. There's got to be a middle ground here where they don't have to spend a fortune trying to resolve every case, and they can protect the sellers that they know have an excellent track record. You know, maybe it's a little bit more difficult at the beginning and you don't know. So there's so much data out there, not just on sellers, but on buyers. And so why let the same buyers get away with the same type of return multiple times? It just blows my mind. But in the end, I would rather have a little bit of that every now and again and get my feelings hurt and get a little ticked off than to have things that continuously take smaller amounts of money from me over the course of years and years and years. But I may be wrong. Tell me what you think in the comments below. And I think maybe it's more of an issue as, hey, you know, I'm making you a lot of money, eBay. Have my back when I deserve it, kind of thing. And I'm looking for a CD here. Normally my CD, oh, here it is right here. There it is. I just didn't see them. They were too far up against there. Fiona Apple, bought a bunch of CDs and pulled a bunch out and sold a few separately. This one was sealed, so I did it. Fiona Apple, When the Pawn Hits. I can't remember what that thing was called. But anyways, it was sealed. Sold for $10. Plus shipping. Sold that Darkwing Duck figure the other day. I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I sold it as deal of the day on dibdit.com. I usually put items over there a little bit cheaper than I would put them on eBay because the fees for me are cheaper for sure. And I don't have a name for who bought that, but I decided I'd put these Ertl, I think 1981 Ertl, General Lee, and the Dukes of, or the Boss Hog car over there as the deal of the day. Probably 30% cheaper than I'd put them over on eBay, but that's on dibdit.com, although by the time you hear this, it might be sold. I'm going to try to keep putting those deals of the day over there with certain things that really fit that marketplace. I've had a lot of fun doing it. I've got a lot of good feedback from folks. Thanks for the deal kind of stuff, so I'm excited about that. But that leads me into a little bit of something that I want to talk about in just a second, but I'm going to pull 3 more items first. And this one happens to not be an eBay sale, so the last 2 have Dibdit. And then one on Bonanza. It's a mailbox cover. It costs $20. Brand new. I think I paid $1 for it at a sale. I was picking it up on my way out. It's a mailbox cover. You can see the little flag right there. Steelers. And it sold on Bonanza $16.78 plus shipping. The next one barely got in the drawer before it sold. Pete Craigslist Hunter's drawer. This one is a Mercedes wallet. It was in a quarter bin. Was it a quarter bin? A dollar bin? It might have been a dollar bin at an estate sale. I don't think they have quarter bins in an estate sale. And I'm like, Mercedes-Benz little card holder wallet thing. I was like, that's gotta be worth something, right? And I paid $1 for it. Sold for $15.95. Super easy to ship, plus shipping. And I've got a ton more great sales, so stick around. I want to make one more point. You know, I feel like I'm kind of in this position now. I have these 2 marketplaces, dibdit.com and shopcommons.net. And I just wrote down a few little notes for myself here because this is on the front of my mind, right? If there's an issue from a buyer or with a seller, you know, for people who are now selling on sites that have my name on it, you know, how do you deal with them? And just to give you an idea here, and I imagine this number's, I don't know if it's high, it's probably higher on eBay, but there's been 784 sales so far. This is a couple days before, this is 2 days before you see this, I think, over on shopcommons.net in just over 2 months, which is insane. So thank you. And there's been 4 issues out of 784 sales. Out of those 4, at this early stage, the folks that are handling the back end of this thing for me, they contact me a lot. Not on every one of them, but on 3 of the 4 so far. Maybe 2 of the 4 so far. No, I think it's 3. And they present me with the issue, and sometimes they're not clear cut. And so who do you want to side with? Because you really want buyers, and you want buyers to be happy. And you want buyers to keep coming back and being happy. And it's why I put a lot of these things in place with videos and, you know, chat with the seller himself and that kind of stuff to make it really work for people. But you're always going to have issues. eBay's always going to have issues. I can accept them making the wrong decision from time to time. It's the systematic wrong decisions when the evidence is clear as day that's a problem. So for me, I look at it, hey, I don't want bad sellers on my site with my name on it. And it's going to happen. And I don't want buyers taking advantage of good sellers. So how do you weigh that out? And you got to make those decisions. And it is time consuming. So I can imagine the process. And so far, I think 2 of those 4, we went with the buyer. And 2 of those 4, we went with the seller. And it was about the, and who knows, we might be wrong. You just got to make the best decision. But I think the communication is the part that really, really will help. And sometimes the communication, because you call up somebody and you just get, you know, they don't know what the heck's going on, makes it part of that issue. But I do think there's room for improvement for sure. We sold some Jordan shorts, and these are, they're not high end by any stretch, but I knew they'd still have a market, and we decided to put 2 together because they weren't quite getting to our $15 amount. And those 2, I guess they're vintage. They're not that old. Jordan shorts with some interesting color block there. $19.95. No shipping. Almost forgot a Commons sale. You might remember me telling you about us doing a little experiment and taking Reagan's clothes that we would normally donate somewhere because we didn't have a lot to donate, so we weren't going to go to Lynchburg and do Blessing Place or the mission here. We just tried to sell we weren't going to take them to Goodwill. I don't do that too much unless it's for pure convenience. And I decided to try to sell them on Commons. Not really a reseller lot, just maybe somebody wants these. Because they were all the same size. We divide them into kind of genre or season, I guess, by size. And we sold one off pretty quick, and the other one wasn't quite as desirable. But we still got $12 plus shipping for a lot of Reagan's clothes that we previously would have donated. But somebody bought them on there, so hey, every little bit helps. And we have a second viewer sale of the day, and technically this is a second and a third viewer sale. We bought this at a sale, I guess it was Roanoke, almost Roanoke, Virginia. Dr. Seuss alarm clock sold, and one other thing. Headed out to the other shed because it's glass. I think the name was Hillary, and she asked if we could combine the two, even though she bought them separate. So that is what we're going to do, and I think it's right over here. Yep, this is a little fairy lamp, Indiana glass. I'm going to take that down right there. Fairy lamp, and that one. So I think we had it listed for $24.95 and did a 5% offer, so $23.70 plus shipping. So Hillary says, thanks so much for all you do. I'm starting my Christmas shopping already. There you go. There's your warning out there, folks. People... not my kind of people, but they start Christmas. Well, technically I do this. I start Christmas shopping like whenever I'm out there shopping, if I find something at a garage sale that's worthy of a Christmas gift for my kids. And I don't mind giving vintage for Christmas at all, especially if it's new old stock, but I think people like it. I'd love for there to be, this movement for vintage Christmas or used Christmas or something like that, and incorporate that into some of the Christmas shopping. So help us resellers out, right? Did you sell the Rainbow Bright? I never saw her listed. Oh, yes, I am a viewer. Well, thank you, Hillary. I appreciate that. Yes, we did sell the Rainbow Bright. And I think the reason you didn't sell it is I sold it on dibdit.com on a live show. I think. I've had multiple ones in here, but the last one, I think we did that. So I'm pretty sure because it was sitting over there. And right now we have Hamburglar. This is pretty cool, by the way. And then we've got a Care Bear and then a Hug-a-Bunch. I am a sucker for Ace Novelty Vintage Plush. And I buy them all the time for like a quarter or 50 cents or whatever because I just like them so much. I don't know. Isn't that cool? It's one of those harder plush. And they don't go for much, but they still do sell. $8.95 plus shipping. So, I'm making about $5 on that one. Plus shipping. There's the cat that nobody ever sees. The stealth kitty. I'll zoom in. That's Dobby out there. And this is what's sold, but Dobby's made his way up there. He's a hunter, I bought this one at the same sale I bought that one, and it was $1 as well. And I was a little disappointed. Metroid was one of those games. I didn't play a ton of games, but Metroid was one of those I could play with my brother, and I liked it because we didn't fight. Well, we fought together, but you get the point. Sad it wasn't a size large. I would have kept it. $19.95. Plus shipping. Now I see two dogs behind me. I'll leave the door open for them. Sold lot number 2 of the Abeka books that I bought for $5 for all of them. And now this sold for $34.95 plus shipping. So that's up to $70 already. 2 more lots to go. Only paid $5. Hi. How y'all doing? You look like you got a bath today. Did Mama give you a bath? I bet she gave you a bath because you were digging in that dirt again, weren't you? This one. Yeah, I know. Alright, treat time. Alright. You're the most misbehaved dog in the world and we still love you. You're a pretty good dog, though. Alright, Reagan's got some thank yous. You got a bunch today, you got a bunch tomorrow, and working on some for the next day because tons of stuff. So, what do you got?
Matthew got a CWP light, Junkyard Flipper sticker, and a blue CWP shirt, and Deborah and Linda both got a CWP light.
Yeah, that's very good. Check it out. This is the first bag. That's all there is left. And technically, these aren't even left because these sold 2. 4 more sold that are headed out tomorrow. So that's awesome. So we got to get into the second bag.
Yeah.
And you're making some money on this too. Is that Turner out there?
Yeah.
All right.
Bye. And don't forget to get your stickers at commonwealthpicker.com.
This next one was one of the delisted, relisted items that we did recently. And I'm glad I did. I didn't make as much as I thought I originally would. I paid $1 a piece for these 12 discs. I think in hindsight, I would have parted them out. There was a couple in here that were probably $20 to $30 a piece. And I think I wish I would have just taken those 2 out and sold them separately. put the rest in a lot and maybe got 50 bucks for them. But you know what? We're still making money. $12 into $61.70 plus shipping. This next one, oh, I don't know. Maybe I have a confession. I'll have to tell you. Tell me what you think. It's a North Face jacket. I picked it up at the 127 for $5. And it sold for $64.95 pretty quickly. And here you go. There you go. $110 price tag on that North Face jacket. So I do this often, and I don't have a problem with it. It is what it is. But I saw a rack full of clothing. I love to ask, how much are your clothes? And then sometimes I'll just say like $5 each or $1 a piece or whatever. Or how much are your jackets? Something like that. And they'll give you a price because they don't care, they want it gone. And I saw that jacket sitting there. It was a North Face, and I thought, this is a pretty good jacket. It's a $30, $35 jacket, easy. And then I saw the tag. I was like, ooh, it's going to be worth $70. And we sold it for $64.95. But I did. I asked them, like, how much for your jackets? And they're like, $5. And there's a bunch of jackets that I didn't want for $5. But that one was there, so I pulled it off the rack, and I brought it over to him, and he took the $5. And I don't know, if I would have said, hey, how much for your brand new North Face jacket with tags? He might have said more than $5. All right, it is not quite Halloween month, but Turner's got a little Halloween-ish joke right there. Check out that. Do you want to use that this year when you go trick-or-treating? Are you too old to trick-or-treat? No?
No, never.
Reagan's too old. He's never too old. What's your joke?
Why are baseball games at night?
Why are baseball games at night? I don't know.
Because bats sleep during the day.
I love it. Thank you, bud.
Bye.
All right, so tell me again in your comments, not that you're a complainer or a whiner all the time or anything like that, but what is your biggest complaint? What is the one thing you wish eBay would fix or do better? I guess is a great way to say it. So tell me that in the comments below. I could do some more sales today, y'all, but I don't have to because I don't have to ship until tomorrow, so that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully your sales are picking up, even if it's been slow out there. I know mine have been really good lately, so I'm pretty excited about Q4. Hope you are too, and I can't wait to see you next.